Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, entitled Sankhya Yoga, verse number 30. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamayi pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. A person in Krishna consciousness certainly sees Lord Krishna everywhere and he sees everything in Krishna. Such a person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature, but in each and every instance he is conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is the manifestation of Krishna's energy. Nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. That is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the development of love of Krishna, a position transcendental even to the material liberation. It is the stage beyond self-realization at which the devotee becomes one with Krishna in the sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee and the devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. An intimate relationship between the Lord and the devotee then exists. In that stage, the living entity attains his immortality. Nor is the personality of Godhead ever out of the sight of the devotee. To merge in Krishna is spiritual annihilation. A devotee takes no such risk. It is stated in Brahma Samhita, Premanjanacharita Bhakti Vilochanena Santah Sadaiva Hrudayeshu Vilokayanti. Yam Syama Sundharam Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindhamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotee, whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shyama Sundara, situated within the heart of a devotee. At this stage, Lord Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose sight of the Lord. In the case of a yogi who sees the Lord as Paramatma within the heart, the same applies. Such a yogi turns into a pure devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
So the yogi's concentration of mind on this Vishnu form, that is explained. That Vishnu, who is all pervading, who is Ishara Sarvabhutanam Riddesha Arjuna Tishtati. In the Bhagavad Gita you will find that Mahavishnu, that Kirodakshaya Vishnu is sitting in everyone's heart. Now yogi has to find out where he is sitting and concentrate his mind there. That is the yoga process. Wow. The yogi should know,
the yogi should know that Vishnu is not different from Krishna. Krishna in this form of Supersoul is situated in everyone's heart. Furthermore, there is no difference between the innumerable Supersouls present in the innumerable hearts of living entities. Nor is there a difference.
The example, just like there is one sun in the sky, but if you keep on the earth millions of water pots, you will find in each water pot the reflection of the sun. Or another example, at noon time, you just inquire from your friend 10,000 miles away, where is the sun? He will say, on my head. So, millions and trillions of people will see sun on his head. But the sun is one. And the another example, the water pot, the sun is one, But if there are millions of water pots, you will find each pot the sun is reflecting. Similarly, there may be innumerable living entities. There is no count. Jiva jasankha. In the Vedic language, it is said that living entities, there is no count. Inhuman. So similarly, Vishnu is, if a material thing like sun can be reflected in each and every water pot, so why not the Supreme Personality Godhead Vishnu live in each and every one's heart? It is not difficult to understand. He is living. That is taken. And the yogi has to concentrate his mind on that Vishnu form. So, this Vishnu form is plenary portion of Krishna. So, one who is engaged in Krishna consciousness is already a perfect yogi. That will be explained. He is a perfect yogi. That will explain in the last parts of this chapter. Go on.
Nor is there a difference between a Krishna-conscious person always engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna and a perfect yogi engaged in meditation on the Supersoul.
There is no difference. A yogi who is in samadhi, trance, with the Vishnu form, and a Krishna conscious person, there is no difference. Wow.
The yogi in Krishna consciousness, even though he may be engaged in various activities while in material existence, remains always situated in Krishna. A devotee of the Lord, always acting in Krishna consciousness, is automatically liberated.
That we'll find in this Bhagavad Gita in the 12th chapter, that one who is mancha vyavicharini bhakti yogina je sevate sagunan samatitayetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. It is said that one who is engaged in unalloyed devotional service unto me, he has already transcended the material modes of nature. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He is on the Brahma platform. That means liberated. To become liberated means to be situated on the Brahma platform. There are three platforms. The bodily platform or sensual platform, then mental platform, then spiritual platform. That spiritual platform is called Brahma platform. So, to become liberated means to stand on the Brahma platform. Conditioned soul, we are at the present moment, we are on the platform of this bodily concept of life, or sensual platform. Those who are a little above, they are on the mental platform, speculative, philosophers. And above this platform, there is Brahma platform. So, you will find in the Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter, or 14th chapter I think, that one who is in Krishna consciousness, he is already on the Brahma platform. That means liberated.
In the Narada Pancharatra, this is confirmed in this way. By concentrating one's attention on the transcendental form of Krishna, who is all-pervading and beyond time and space, one becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna, and then attains the happy state of transcendental association with him. Krishna consciousness is the highest stage of trance in yoga practice. This very understanding, that Krishna is present as Paramatma in everyone's heart, makes the yogi faultless. The Vedas confirm this inconceivable potency of the Lord as follows. Vishnu is one, and yet he is certainly all-pervading. By his inconceivable potency, in spite of his one form, he is present everywhere. As the sun, he appears in many places at once.
Yeah. That example I have already given. As the sun can be present in many places simultaneously. Similarly, Vishnu form or Krishna can be present in everyone's heart. He is actually present. Ishvara sarvabhutanam riddheshe Arjuna. He is sitting. The localization is also stated. Riddheshe. Riddheshe means in the heart. So concentration of yoga means to find out from the heart where Vishnu is sitting. There is. Wow.
Verse 32. He is a perfect yogi who, knowing that the self dwells in all, sees the true equality of all living entities, both in their happiness and distress, O Arjuna.
This is universal vision. Not that God is sitting in your heart and not in the cat's heart or dog's heart or cow's heart. He is sitting everyone's heart. It is said sarvabhutana. Sarvabhuta means all living entities. He is sitting in human heart, he is sitting in the ant's heart, he is sitting in the dog's heart, he is sitting in everyone's heart. But the cats and dogs, they cannot realize. That is the difference. But a human being, if he tries, if he follows the yoga system, Sankhya yoga system, Bhakti yoga system, then he is able to find out. That is the prerogative of this human form of life. And if we miss this opportunity, if we don't find out, if we don't identify our existence with the Lord, then we are missing this opportunity. This, after the evolutionary process, coming through 8,400,000 species of life, when we get this human form of life, if we miss this opportunity, then how much loss we suffer, we do not know. So we should be conscious about that. We should not miss this opportunity. We have got very nice body, human form of body, intelligence, and civilized life. We are not like animals. We can think peacefully. We have no so hard struggle for life as the animals. So we should utilize. That is the instruction in the Bhagavad Gita. Don't lose this opportunity. Utilize it properly. Go on.
Verse 33. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga, which you have summarized, appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady.
Now here is the crucial test of yoga system. If you can concentrate your mind on the form of Vishnu, the process has been described previously that you have to sit like this, you have to look like this, you have to live like this. So many things we have already discussed. But Arjuna says that it is very difficult for me. We have to understand this point. He says, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized, this system is called Ashtanga yoga. Ashtanga yoga, 8 different parts. Jyam, Niyam, First of all, controlling the senses, following the rules and regulation, then practicing the sitting posture, then exercising the breathing process, then concentrate your mind, then be absorbed in the form. There are 8 processes, Ashtanga Yoga. So, Arjuna says, this Ashtanga Yoga system is very difficult. He says that impractical. Yes, not impractical. For him, it is not impractical. If it is impractical, then Krishna would not have described and taken so much trouble. It is not impractical, but yes, one thing may be impractical for me, but practical for you. That is a different thing. But generally, this system is impractical for ordinary common man. Arjuna is representing himself as a common man in the sense that he was not a mendicant, or he has renounced his family life, or he has no connection with his bread problem because he was on the war field to fight for the kingdom. So he is supposed to be an ordinary. So for ordinary man who are engaged in these worldly activities, for handling livelihood, family life, children, wife, or so many problems, it is not practical. That is the point here. It is practical for one who has already renounced everything, completely in a secluded, sacred place, just lying in the hill or in the cave of a hill, alone, no public disturbance. So where is the opportunity for ordinary man, for us, especially in this age? Therefore, this yoga system is not practical. It is admitted by Arjuna, who was a great warrior, and he was so advanced, he belonged to the royal family, and very expert in so many things. He says that it is impractical. Just try to understand. And what we are in comparison to Arjuna, if we try this system, it's not possible. Failure is sure. Go on, reading the purport.
The system of mysticism described by Lord Krishna to Arjuna is here being rejected by Arjuna.
Yes, rejected. Arjuna, yes.
Out of a feeling of inability. It is not possible for an ordinary man to leave home and go to a secluded place in the mountains or jungles to practice yoga in this age of Kali. The present age is characterized by bitter struggle for a life of short duration.
Yes. First of all, our duration life is very short. If you study the statistics, you can see your forefathers who lived for 100 years or 80 years, 90 years now, 60 years, 70 years, people are dying. Gradually, it will decrease. In this age, the memory, the duration of life, mercifulness, so many things will decrease. That is the symptom of this age. Wow.
People are not serious about self-realization, even by simple practical means. What to speak of this difficult yoga system, which regulates the mode of living, the manner of sitting, selection of place, and detachment of the mind from material engagements. As a practical man, Arjuna thought it was impossible to follow this system of yoga.
Yes. He was not prepared to become a pseudo-yogi, false, simply by practicing some gymnastics. He was not a pretender. He said that I am a family man, I am a soldier, no, it is not possible for him. He frankly admits. He does not catch something which is impossible. That is simply useless waste of time. Why should one do that? Wow.
Even though he was favorably endowed in many ways, he belonged to the royal family and was highly elevated in terms of numerous qualities. He was a great warrior. He had great longevity.
Yes. One thing is the age. 5,000 years ago, when Arjuna was living, the longevity was very, very long. At that time, people used to live up to 1,000 years. Just like in the present age, the limit is 100 years. Similarly, in the Dwapara Yuga, the age limit was 1,000 years. And before that, in the Treta Yuga, the age limit was 10,000 years. And before that, in the Satya Yuga, the age limit was 100,000 years. So the age limit is decreasing. So even though Arjuna was at a time when people could live for 1,000 years, he thought that it is impossible. Wow.
And above all, he was the most intimate friend of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 5,000 years ago, Arjuna had much better facilities than we do. Yet he refused this system of yoga.
This system of yoga, this Ashtanga yoga, yes.
In fact, we do not find any record in history of his practicing it at any time. Therefore, this system must be considered impossible, especially in this age of Kali. Of course, it may be possible for some very few rare men, but for the people in general, it is an impossible proposal. If this was so 5,000 years ago, then what to speak of the present day? Those who are imitating this yoga system in different so-called schools and societies, although complacent, are certainly wasting their time. They are completely in ignorance of the desired goal.
Yes. So, this Ashtanga yoga is not possible. Therefore, this yoga system, Bhakti yoga system, is applicable to anyone. You have seen when this chanting Bhakti yoga system goes on, even a small child, he also begins to clap. Without any training, without any education, automatically he takes part. So, therefore Lord Chaitanya has said that this is the only system in this age. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, iva kevala. Simply chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Kalo, in this age of Kali, Kalo, Nasti eva, Nasti eva. There is no other alternative, no other alternative, no other alternative. If you adopt this system, this Bhakti Yoga system, very simple, simply chant, you will find immediately result. Prattakham avagavam dharma. Any other yoga system, if you practice, you are in the darkness, you do not know how far you are making progress. But this system, you will understand, yes, I am making such and such progress. This is the only yoga system, Bhakti yoga system, that one can practice for quick result and self-realization and liberation even in this life. He hasn't got to wait for another life. It is so nice. Krishna consciousness. Wow.
Verse 34. For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna. And to subdue it, it seems to me, more difficult than controlling the wind.
Yes. Even if you can control the wind, that is not possible. Nobody can control the wind. But even it is theoretically accepting that you can control the wind, but it is not possible to control the mind. It is very difficult. Mind is so flickering and so turbulent. Wow.
Purport. Mind is so strong and obstinate that sometimes it overcomes the intelligence. For a man in the practical world who has to fight so many opposing elements, it is certainly very difficult to control the mind. Artificially, one may establish a mental equilibrium toward both friend and enemy. But ultimately, no worldly man can do so, for this is more difficult than controlling the raging wind. In the Vedic literatures it is said, the individual is the passenger in the car of the material body, and intelligence is the driver. Mind is the driving instrument, and the senses are the horses. The self is thus the enjoyer or sufferer in the association of the mind and senses. So it is understood by great thinkers. Intelligence is supposed to direct the mind, but the mind is so strong and obstinate that it surpasses even one's own intelligence. As an acute infection may surpass the efficacy of medicine. Such a strong mind is supposed to be controlled by the practice of yoga. But such practice is never practical for a worldly person like Arjuna. And what can we say of modern man? The difficulty is neatly expressed. One cannot capture the blowing wind. And it is even more difficult to capture the agitating mind.
That for this process, chanting Hare Krishna, it captures the mind immediately. Simply, if you chant Krishna and if you hear, automatically your mind is fixed in Krishna. That means the yoga system is immediately attained. Because the whole yoga system is to concentrate your mind on the form of Vishnu. And Krishna is the original personality of expansion of Vishnu forms. Krishna is just like, here is a lamp. Now, from this lamp, from this candle, you can bring another candle. You can kindle it. Then another, thousands of candles you can expand. Each candle is as powerful as this candle. There is no doubt of it. But one has to take this candle as the original candle. Similarly, Krishna is expanding in millions of Vishnu forms. Each Vishnu form is as good as Krishna. But Krishna is the original candle. Because from Krishna everything expands. So one who has concentrated his mind somewhere other in Krishna, he has already attained the perfection of yoga. This is the substance of Krishna consciousness movement. Wow.